Now the wall logs stack up in sequence. Obviously side walls, then the front and back walls, side walls, then the front and back walls. It's obviously quite common sense that therefore one of the logs is going to need to be what's called a half log. Now, exactly similar to a normal log, but cut in half. This is the only log that you're going to need to screw into the bearer. Now what we do is we're going to lay the first line of logs out with the half logs on the front and back and a full log on each side. And once that's done, we're going to screw the half logs only into the bearer. Now when the wall logs go down, you'll see they'll overhang of about 70mm from the edge of the bearer. That's what you want. Now we've pre-drilled these holes to ensure the wood doesn't split. And again, very easy for you to do that as well. Now this, and one last screw right at the top of the walls once you're attaching the apexes, that's the only time you actually need to screw the wall logs into position. And now, with the first line of logs down, we have our logs laid out roughly where we need them, so they're straight to hand, quick and easy to grab as we're building the walls. We're now going to show you just how fast you can build up the cabin from this stage right up to the roof. Start the clock. Phew, that was quick. According to the camera clock, that was less than 10 minutes. So we'll see how accurate that is when we actually get to editing it. And now obviously we did a lot of preparation work. We had our logs ready, we pre-assembled our door frame, we unwrapped our windows, for example. Plus, we know what logs we're looking for. So for us, it was perhaps a little bit quicker than it would be for you. But still, if it's 10 minutes for us, imagine how quick it will be for you. Wow your neighbours with how fast your building skills are. We did have a minor problem at one point. One of the logs wasn't quite the right shape. You can saw it down there. Had to swap it out for another one. Not a problem, it happens. Timber's a natural product. It twists, it warps sometimes with moisture. That's why Dungeon House give you spares. So we still got a spare side log there and actually 2 spare wall logs at the back as well. So even if there'd been more than one log twisted, we'd have still been absolutely fine. So basically, if you do have any logs that are twisted, don't panic. Look for your spares. Next, we're going to put on the pre-assembled apexes. Now, these you see, they're actually 3 logs high. They're all on the angle for the roof. A lot of cabin companies, you'll find that these aren't actually pre-assembled. In fact, some of them are worse than they're just sort of face staple, big chunky staples on the outside to hold together, which you'll see. Ours are screwed together in a hidden method, so you won't see it unless you're looking directly down at the top of the logs, which you won't because the roof's there. Now, this particular design log cabin requires another log to go at the front, so we've unscrewed 2 of the screws at the top so that we can lift it up and we'll be able to place that log in the front there. Now these are our purlins. Now they're quite heavy, so I'm going to rest one end on the ground. The reason they're quite heavy is because we use very thick, chunky timber. Now that's for your benefit. One, it's for snow loading. If you go into the gallery on our website, you'll see lots of customer photos with 6 inches of snow on the roof, and you can see the cabin's there perfectly fine. The other benefit for you is when you're up on the roof doing your roofing material, it can take your weight. Even someone like me, if I'm very careful, because I'm a big guy. Benefits of our purlins as well, they're pre-notched, so they'll slide straight into place. They're also already at the right angle. So this one here is completely flat on the top. This one is going right at the high point, the ridge of the roof. Other purlins will have different angles on. So just pay attention to the angles as you put the purlins in, so you put the right one in the right place. The purlins are then screwed down through into the apex. And if you remember, this is only the 2nd time during the construction of the walls we've actually had to screw anything. Moving inside the cabin, I'm going to give you a quick hint here and a check to do. Sometimes when you're building the walls of the cabin, they can bow out very slightly. The bearers will all be fine, but the walls may slightly bow out. The way to check whether or not this has happened is to take a floorboard, place it in the middle of the cabin, going the opposite direction to the bearers, and comparing the distance at the ends of the logs, if you do the same check at the back of the cabin. In this case, it's fine. But if it has happened, and if the walls have bowed out, just hit the bottom of the wall logs with a rubber mallet or something, just to bring them in slightly. And that's all. The weight of it, once they're in position, will hold them there. Storm braces are very important, and they're included with your kit. You fit them about 24 centimetres from the corner of the cabin, in all 4 corners. What you do, there's no need for there to be a gap at the top, you must make sure you leave a gap at the bottom. This is for the expansion and contraction. You drill through the brace, through the outside wall of the cabin to make your first hole. At the bottom, it's a groove, not a hole. So again, drill about in the middle. This makes the 2 holes. Push the bolts through from the outside, and then you can tighten up the bolts. Very important thing when you tighten the bolts into the storm brace is that you do not over tighten them. The one at the bottom of the groove, it must be able to move. It must be able to move to allow for the expansion and contraction of the timber.